Today I'm joined by Claire Pledger from House of Curls. When Claire broke her wrist in 2019, she started documenting her curly hair care journey on Instagram. As her community of followers grew, she realised that a lot of people were struggling to find the best products to care for their curly hair. Thus, House of Curls was born, a space that has everything in one place, easy buying access to amazing products, along with information and help on caring for your curls. Hi Claire, welcome to the show.
Hi, Sarah. Thank you for having me.
So it's pleasure. So can you start off by just sort of telling us a little bit more about how that journey started for you and how you ended up opening the wonderful House of Curls?
Yeah, of course. So basically, like you said, I broke my wrist. I've always cared for my hair, and it's always been curly, or what I thought had been curly. But I've always sort of struggled finding the right products. So when I broke my wrist, it became more of a focal point because obviously I couldn't wash my hair myself. And everybody, jokes that curly hair takes so much longer to do. So it was down to my husband to try and help wash it. So this amused us both. And I just thought, I don't know what made me think of it actually, but I just thought this could be quite funny to document. It's either going to go horribly wrong and I'm going to have bad hair for what could be 6 to 8 weeks, or it's going to surprise us both. So I thought, okay, I'll document it. And he did do an all right job actually, and it's surprising what you can do with one hand. So yeah, I just started taking pictures, found a community on there, and it grew from there really. But what kept popping up all the way through this journey and quite early on is people were asking, where can we get these products? How have you got your hands on these? They're not available in the UK. And for a couple of months I kept thinking, I'm sure there's something here, I'm sure there's something I could do to not only help myself but to help others. And after a lot of research, it came to be that there was a niche for specialized hair care for curly hair in the UK. So yeah, that's where it came from.
Wow. And it's so I guess it kind of took you by surprise then, really, the community that you managed to build on Instagram, because you didn't at the beginning have any business idea. There was no, oh, I'm going to start a brand, like people weren't purposely going on to build this community so that you could set up a business. It was
Oh,
just
yeah.
people finding. How do you think people found you? Did they?
Absolutely. It's and I think even to this day I still can't believe, and then we've said earlier on that I think I'm still in shock that what it's come to, because I certainly didn't go onto Instagram thinking, right, I'm going to take pictures of my hair and I'm going to build a business from this. That was not in my thoughts at all. I just I don't know. I did look into sort of hashtags, and I followed a lot of people and and obviously I've got an interest in it. It was becoming a passion. Like, I love caring for my hair. I've always been into skincare, hair care, makeup, that kind of thing. So I had a genuine interest in it, and a genuine interest in finding out what other people were doing to care for their hair. And then it became about, right, how can I make my hair as healthy as possible? Because from what other people are doing, my hair is obviously not in the best state. So I then took it on a personal mission to say, right, okay, let's sort my own hair out. And I think as you use Instagram a little bit more, I was finding the hashtags. You see what other people are doing, so you try and do your own take on that. And then I was finding little things that I posted people really liked. So I might have taken a little bit of a different angle on something, but then once I knew that worked, I thought, okay, right, that's resonating with people. Let's stick to that kind of content.
Yeah.
And yeah, it grew really quickly. Yeah, and it's a really nice community on there. I mean, I love Instagram. Obviously now it's got a special place in my heart because this is where my business has come from. But I think it's a really nice platform to use.
To share, I guess. Yeah. So when you had that first idea and you decided and you sort of said to yourself, right, I'm going to do it, I'm going to go for it, I'm going to set myself up and I'm going to sell these products, what was the what was your first step in that process? Because obviously you had lots that you had to do. You had to source the products, you had to build the website. Where did you start?
I started with a lot of research, first of all, just to make sure that what I thought was right, and that there would be some kind of audience there and customers there for what I wanted to bring to the UK. And that when I found out that was, or hopefully was, going to be the case, the next thing was contacting suppliers. Most of the brands that I sell are from America, Canada, sort of USA, overseas. So there was a lot of finding, these people are not easy to contact either, I think, because they're not used to the UK market, and they had sort of, their intention wasn't over here at that moment. It was finding the right people to speak to, getting wholesale prices, were they willing to sell, etc., etc. So once I had contacts, then it was, was the minimum orders, sort of financing, working out what kind of financing I needed. And then once I had all that in place, it was like, right, we need a really good website, really, really good website that is going to be not only attractive, but obviously practical. I wanted it to be really helpful, as well as the selling aspect. I really wanted to bring a different element to it. I wanted it to be a go-to place. If you wanted help or a little bit of advice, something that you could refer to, as well as then go and buy all the products that you needed.
Yeah, and so it's a WordPress site with WooCommerce, isn't it?
Yes.
So did you struggle to find, how did you find a good developer? Was it
through a recommendation? So he had Carolo that did it, had done work for my husband. So it was also, going to somebody that felt comfortable with, knew they're doing a good job, and they gained the concept really quickly. So that was half the battle. They understood it, from the word go, what I was trying to achieve. So that made it a lot easier.
Yeah. And I do know when you launched it, remind me, was it the day of lockdown or the day before?
I launched it on Saturday the 14th of March. And I think we went into lockdown on the following Thursday or Friday, which was not ideal. And I did think, oh my goodness, what have I done? This is either going to be the end before it started, or it may go in my favour with everybody being indoors. And
it did.
Luckily, it did go in my favour.
So obviously, Claire and I work together, so I do know a little bit about the story. So obviously, when you launched, you had that wonderful audience on Instagram that were there waiting and ready, which I think worked really well for you in the beginning, didn't it?
Yes, it did. Yeah, people were lovely. People were so responsive. The people that, within the closer community that I've built sort of friendships up with, they were all sort of great in resharing content and spreading the word. And and I was lucky because I was over that figure where you can have the swipe up links on Instagram. I was able to share the website immediately with easy access. So it was great if I used a product or I wanted to talk about the shop, in my stories, I could do the link and it was there instant. So very lucky from that aspect that I was already at that point where I could share stuff a lot more quicker and a lot more easier.
And so we started, because we did start with the Google ads pretty much straight away, didn't we, as I recall?
Yes, I think we did.
Yeah. So what made you decide to kind of just go all out, straight out the gates, or just to sort of wait and see how your Instagram, social traffic went? Did you just like, I'm going to go for it?
Yeah, no, I am one of them people. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it properly, and I dream big. I didn't want this just to be a not a hobby, but a small thing on the side. I wanted this to be, I want this to be the number one hair care brand, a place to go for all your hair products. So I dreamt big from the beginning, and I wanted everybody to know about it. And I think it was my husband that said, and a few other people, you can have the best looking website in the world, but if nobody knows about it, then nobody is going to buy from you. And that has stuck with me from moment one, all the way through the development process of building the website, night after night, putting all these products on. It was just ringing in my ears. Right, okay, you have to do the outlay of Google marketing, Google ads, Google shopping from the word go, because you're going to be on the back foot otherwise, I think. And it's a false economy thinking, right, I'm going to save some money at the beginning, I'm not going to do these ads, but then you're going to be sat around twiddling your thumbs,
Yeah.
waiting for orders to come to you. So I knew I had to have you because you are the best in the business. We have worked with you before, and I budgeted it into marketing from the moment, and yeah, I came to you. I think it was February time.
Yeah, well,
So
yes, I think it was, wasn't it? And yeah.
So we were ready to go and hit the road running when I launched in March then. So yeah.
And of course with lockdown then it kind of hit double, didn't it? And it was like, it really did take off. So how did you cope? You must have had sort of logistical issues when it came to lockdown and everything. How did you find that? How did you cope with that?
Yeah, still to this day now. I mean, I started in the spare bedroom. I'm now in the garage, and I've practically outgrown that. But just with having a child at home as well, and my husband works. We've got another business closed at the moment, but just trying to manage everything. I mean, I underestimated the actual physical side of the shop. I think the packing, the actual orders, the stock, as well as thinking, okay, yeah, what you're selling. You forget what you're selling when the orders come in, that you've actually got to box these hundreds of orders up and get them out on time, as well as pushing the business forward, responding, ordering, restocking, social media, doing all the other bits, accounts, alongside it. So that logistic has been hard. And then, like I said, having a child at home and just the general effects of a pandemic and everything else that brings it hasn't been the easiest year, but it's been a good one in terms of business. So I hate to moan. I don't want to moan.
Yeah, well, no, but like I think I was saying to you earlier, that you don't mind working hard. We all are happy to work hard when we know that we are building something.
Yes.
You're not just working for some faceless corporation. You're actually building something of your own. It's hard work, but it doesn't feel quite as bad.
No,
doing it for yourself, does it? So at the moment, is it still just you working in the business?
Yeah, still just me. It's that, I think we've had this conversation before as well. I think I'm at the point now where I need to maybe get a member of staff, or do I get a premises of some sort, because I'm outgrowing the garage, and I don't think I can do this much longer. If it, hopefully, touch wood, carries on the way that it's going, I'm not going to be able to do the day-to-day packing and getting everything out, as well as pushing it forward, because you have so many ideas, and I still do, and so many more things I want to put in place, but that is hard to do while, like I say, trying to get the orders out daily. So yeah, it's a fine line of, right, okay, how do we grow this to the next step without taking too much of a bigger jump and then expanding too quickly. I don't want to ruin the momentum, because it's going at a very nice pace in the right direction, and I don't want to do anything that's going to make that gap a little bit too big and anything suffers in between. So the next month, I think, is I'm going to take a good look and see where we are, and see what small changes I can do to take it to the next level.
It's always a struggle, isn't it, when you start off and it takes off so well, just to know where to prioritize your time, I guess. Which part of the business do you find the most challenging, do you think?
At the moment, I said, the physical side, I mean, it's never, I mean, anybody that works in a warehouse and not a physical, I mean, it's so tiring. I mean, hats off to those, but it's also getting my head around, I think, stock, especially because I'm getting it from overseas. It is, again, a fine line between I need to almost double all my orders now, or triple it, but then you're still being financially aware of, okay, not putting too much into every brand, because you've then got a delay in it coming over, then fulfilling it, so you don't want to be left too short. So it's getting your head around that, I think, and that is quite it's a stressful point, because you don't want to be out of stock, because you don't want anybody to go elsewhere, but then you don't want to be overstocked, or you don't want to be waiting too long for the stock to come. So that's still a big learning curve for me, and it's getting much better. But again, I'm at that crucial point now where I need to double it, but I need to be careful.
Yeah.
monitoring it, and still, so that is difficult. I find that quite the challenge.
Yeah. And are there, I mean, I've heard other people saying that there are big challenges with just the whole supply chain and the delays with stuff coming over. Are you having trouble with that now? Because obviously it's I mean, the situation is not normal at the moment, is it?
No,
You're
it's not
trying to
normal.
kind of learn and manage all of that in a completely extraordinary circumstance, I suppose. Are there a lot of companies that are having trouble with actually getting their stock over here, or in general,
Yeah,
is it happening okay?
it's not too bad. And again, I've now not known any different
Mm.
because I started as this pandemic started, and we're still in hopefully coming out of it, but in the thick of it. I've not known any different. But in the beginning, there was quite a bit of a delay with people getting stock because of COVID, especially some of the products that they sell. It's got pumps, and because of hand sanitization and the uptake that obviously caused, their supply chain was broken. So that then meant that affected us this end. So that was a delay in getting products. Now it's not so bad, but then along came Brexit, just to throw everything up in the air again. So that's had a couple of minor issues, not as much as COVID did in the beginning, but it's starting to level out again now. So it's not too bad. But I may be even more surprised when all this is over and done with, how much easier it is. I didn't realise how difficult it was. So that'll be interesting to see.
And are you planning on, because you are shipping to the EU now, aren't you? You find that that's all going okay? And
yeah, that's not going too bad at the moment. As sought some advice with the VAT, and we think that we have that under control now. It's just the customers. I think they were just unaware of what was actually agreed and what they were going to be presented with their end. But I've tried to be as transparent as possible on the website, and that's all you can do really, sort of give them the information beforehand, and then let it be their choice whether they think it is worth their while to order from outside of where they are.
Yeah. So what do you think your kind of zone of genius? I always quote zone of genius. It's Dan Kennedy or somebody. What do you think is your real kind of best bit that you do, or the bit that you enjoy the most in the business?
I love seeking out the brands and the products that I am monitoring on Instagram and that people are dying to try, or I can see that it's going to be a big trend. So I love seeking those out, and when and getting them actually on board. And I love sharing my knowledge. Everything that I sell, I've used, whether it's right for me or not. I use it, so I have a good understanding of what it does and who it may be best for. So then I love passing on that knowledge and being creative. I love being creative. So there's the other side to it then, which is obviously more of the marketing and the social side, the social platform side, but sharing tips and techniques on how you can use these products, and then getting feedback of saying that they've loved the help, or it's it was helpful, and writing all the content as well. So even if it's not a video on Instagram or a picture, just writing some blog posts, knowing that information is always there then for people to refer to.
Yeah, and it's as you said, when I put in the introduction, you do want it to be a source of knowledge for anybody who's got whatever sort of, I guess, even if you haven't got curly hair, because your curly hair journey is about healthy hair, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's applicable to, I guess, to anybody, is it? Is that what you're
absolutely. And even though it's called House of Curls, this has really opened up my eyes and others around me, I think, just to caring for your hair. And I've got a lot of friends with straight hair who just say, well, family members, well, can't I use this stuff? And I say, absolutely. I mean, a lot of it is geared towards naturally textured hair, curly hair, but a lot of the shampoos and conditioners are just good quality shampoos and conditioners that anybody can use, and I think should use to gain, and get their hair to a much healthier state, rather than what is on the market and some of them, in the more easier places to gain products, sort of like supermarkets and high street shops, that may not be the best for our hair, in my opinion.
So if there was, this is a couple of questions that I kind of try and ask everybody really. And one of them is, if you could change anything about your website, would you change anything? Is there anything about your website that you kind of wish you'd done differently?
I'm not sure. We made a slight change, I think it was before Christmas, just making it a bit more. We changed the banner on the front just to make, you know, new products in, just to make it a bit more, not attractive, that's the wrong word, sort of
Dynamic, I suppose.
Dynamic, yeah. And I think that's worked really well. So that was playing on my mind, and I'm glad we did that. I think that's made a difference. But apart from that, I have to say I'm pretty happy with it. I'm pretty happy with the layout, and I always get a lot of feedback saying that it's a lovely website to look at, and it's also very easy to use, which
that's the main thing.
I think anybody then who's got an e-commerce website, that's one of the main things you want to hear. You don't want to hear anybody having trouble trying to find something, or, you know, it being difficult for a user. So I've got to say, no, I'm pretty, I mean, this may evolve as we go on, but at the moment, I'm really happy with how it is.
Good. Well, it is a lovely website, I have to say, and the pictures of you are amazing, and it's just, it is easy to find everything. When I've gone on there to have a look, definitely. So what if you were kind of giving yourself some advice, or somebody else some advice who's starting out again, what do you think would be the one thing that you would say to them?
The
big one.
I would say if you were able to sort of hit the ground running with somebody like yourself who has been managing your Google Ads and, you know, your shopping, and who is, you know, an expert in what they do, you're probably going to be a little bit more, you'd be taken aback with how quickly it could take off. I think I was unaware how quick it started, and I don't think I was fully prepared for that. I thought, oh, I'm going to have a few weeks or months to get into the swing of things, and I didn't. which is a great problem to have, but I think I would sort of say to myself, right, as soon as that website goes live, you've got to be prepared to just be on it and fulfilling orders and on to the next phase, and, you know, have your strategy really, really set out, so that if it does start off in a really fast, positive way, then you know where you're going. I would never say do a website, press live, and then think I've got time to sort out what I'm going to do in the next couple of months. You've got to have your plan in place, I think.
Yeah, that's very, very good advice. Very good advice. What are your plans for the next 6 months, would you say? Where do you see yourself sort of this time next year, ideally? Where do you want to be?
I would like a warehouse within the year. I want a warehouse, and maybe some kind of slightly, you know, sort of an area where I can grow the content. So maybe demonstrate some more use of products on different hair types, just a space where I can sort of really get creative and get all these ideas that are in my head out there and onto the website and onto the platforms, and hopefully have a member of staff, which would be great. So, you know, a bigger space, I think, would sort of give me a new lease of life, as in, you know, we've been in this house all year. It's grown really quickly, and obviously with having a child at home, it needs, I think it's ready for the next level, I'm hoping, within the next 6 months.
Yeah, that sounds fun. I can't wait to see it. I'm so excited about the potential of where you can be in the next 6 months and 12 months. I can't wait to see what you can achieve, to be perfectly honest. I think it's marvelous what you have achieved so far in such a short time as well. It's really, really good. If people want to find out more about you, where should they go?
Well, the website is www.houseofcurls.co.uk, and then I am on Facebook and obviously Instagram. I have 2 Instagram handles, a brand page which is house_of_curls, and House of Curls UK is more of a it's where I started. That is my page where I started it, and a lot more where it's me personally doing a lot of hair care routines, and then the brand one is more product led, but they do sort of intertwine at some point. But yeah, that's where I am most of the time.
Well, I'll put the links to those in the show notes for the episode, so people can come along and have a little look at the website and follow you on Instagram, and you are on Facebook as well, aren't you? So
yeah, I'm on Facebook as well.
Yeah,
it's really taken off the last.
Yeah,
it's picking up now.
It's good. It's wonderful. I can't wait to see where it goes in the next year or so, Claire. It's very exciting.
It is exciting.
And thank you ever so much for coming to talk to me. It's been really enjoyable.
Yeah, it's been lovely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.